$500,000. And then I realized, oh my God, what am I doing? Obviously there's something wrong. And I was trying to find some good properties, and I couldn't find a good realtor, frankly, who would show me what I needed. So I went on searching on the internet, talking to people, talking to different lawyers, realtors, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to get myself a license myself and then go and look for it. So that's how I got into this business, and this has become my passion actually. And I do a lot of seminars and I do a lot of teaching in Ontario to help people invest their money properly, because I have been actually scammed by some of the very savvy, I guess I would say criminals. And it can happen to anybody. And I'm here to tell you that you can really invest with a very little money in real estate and have a very good return on it, provided you do it the right way, with the right guidance, with the right property and people. So just to give you 10 reasons why you should invest in real estate. First factor that I found is that it's the economy. When the inflation is high, historically the trends have been that your property would be appreciating, and that's somewhere between 5 to 6% a year. Although there's been dips in the past, but it always comes back. So if you hold on to your property, eventually you are going to make some money on it. And then the second thing is that it's very simple. You don't need a degree in real estate or in finance to go and buy a good property. You need to know a bit of know-how. You need to do your basically research, know where the good properties are, good location, and then you go slowly and you purchase something, and hopefully it will be to your benefit. The third thing I find is leveraging. It's like buying. The best thing you can do with your money is to make money with other people's money. And that's what you do in real estate. That's the only thing that there are other things too, but this I think is the most profitable one. Is, for example, if you have $25,000 and you put in a property for $150,000, the rest is of course leveraged by a mortgage. In time, your equity will grow. As your equity will grow, for example, from 25,000 to 30, then 40, you will have more leverage to buy another property with that kind of money. So now you're accumulating from 1 to 2, and then you can, build a portfolio. That's what they call when they say about, money makes money. This is what it means. This is how you're making money. So this is, again, I find it's a great way to invest your money. And then the other thing is tax advantages. I mean, my 40% tax bracket in Canada is the biggest thing. So with your primary residence, you don't have to pay any taxes. If it's a commercial or if it's an investment property, the taxes can be deferred till you sell it. So there's about 25% of the portion that you don't pay taxes on. And also there's anything like your expenses, your management fees, anything to repairs, you can write it off as your expenses against it. So that's another benefit to it. Now some people like to have a long-term investment because it helps you in your retirement. But it can also be a short term because it can be very lucrative if you're getting rental income and use that towards, first of all, you buy a property, the equity is increasing, you're getting a good rental income, provided you buy the property in a proper area and you get good tenants. That's another trick that you need to know when you rent properties, who you're renting out to. And so how you manage your investment is very important. Basically, it can be long-term or short-term. In long-term, you can sell your property and get your equity out. Or by the time you retire, again, the income then becomes a positive cash flow. And I'm sure most of you here are here because you want to do real estate investments. This may be very basics for you, but this is very important to start with the basic and then build yourself. Again, inflation is rent friendly. So as the inflation goes up, there's less people can buy properties. The rent is higher. So there's again a positive cash flow, and then it's a reliable return. It's more consistent than any other market. I don't know if you know this, but today is the 26th anniversary of the stock market crash in 1987. So again, I found this, for some people stock works very well, but I like real estate because it's physical. If things are not going well, you can always sell it. But with stock, you don't know where it's going. Somebody else is managing. This is something you can manage yourself or have a management company who can do it for you. Basically, the choice is yours. There is single family, from single family, hotel, offices, residential, multifamily. By the way, I own all of them. I have commercial units, I have office buildings, I have land for development, and I built it with almost nothing after losing all this money in stock market. And I started small, and then I just continued to build that. It's a strategy that I use. So you need, if you have a good guidance and a good gut feeling with a property, then I would think that this should really work for you. We're all here to make money, obviously. And I think real estate is the best way to make money. So again, like I was talking, there's office, you have a choice of wherever you want to go. You want to go commercial, you can buy commercial property, residential, you can have pre-condos, pre-construction condos, which is another way of making money, or you can have multiplexes. There is a lot of choice in real estate than any other investment that I know of. So yes, again, hotels, resorts, land development. That's a great crash. Okay, now 10 successful real estate investors. First thing that I realize is that you must have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be a very complicated financial planning, but it should tell you where you want to be in 10 years or even 5 years. So that you know, like when you, for example, when you buy a condo, you buy a property, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to keep it for this period of time, and then I'm going to sell it. And what's going to be my rate of return at that time? Or if while I am renting it, what is my appreciation I'm getting? So you should have an idea in your head so that you don't, and at the end, it's not a surprise for you. And also when you are making your plan, think of other, basically you should be diversifying your portfolio. So not just have one kind of investment, have several kinds of investments. Like if you invested, for example, in an office unit, the next thing should be not an office unit, but maybe a little retail store, and then maybe a retail plaza, or a condominium, and then go into a triplexes or multiplexes or an apartment. That's the way I would suggest that you plan your future investment, real estate investments. Again, location, location, location. Everybody knows about that. But location doesn't mean that if everybody is, it's like when you go to a buffet and you see all this food and you say, oh, you know what, everybody is going to this particular dish and it must be good, but you try it and it's not good for you, right? So it's just because everybody wants it doesn't mean it's going to make you money. Sometimes there are things, if you go to the city, you're going to find out, for example, there's a land, and you know that maybe the Walmart is going to come in 3 years from now. That's what you should buy, even though it's got nothing happening right now. You're thinking of your 5-year term, what's going to happen. And that's exactly what's happened to my property. I bought a land, Nobody wanted to touch it. It's on highway. And then the Walmart came. And then the Tim Hortons came. And then it's like walking distance, and then the golf course came. So, everything changes, but for that you need to go and do some research. Go to the city, go to your counselor, talk to them. Sometimes the property will seem very, very attractive, but then I know of a situation where somebody bought a gas station and they're on a highway, and then the city came along and they changed the route. So they had to close down the gas station. So those are the things when you're thinking about investment, but that's something exactly what you should be looking for. For example, there's a lot of stuff going on in Toronto right now in terms of Toronto downtown core with the new condominiums. And a lot of immigrants, when they come, that's where the jobs are, that's where the manufacturing companies are, that's where the big law firms is, financial district. It's a very safe haven for investors, and that's why I'm here to talk to you about Toronto investments. It's like the global economy, It's not, we don't have to invest everywhere where we exactly live. We can go elsewhere. Like we can go to US, we can go to, but before you can cross the border, invest here in Toronto. Another thing is networking. You don't need to read books to see what's going to be, where I'm going to go and how I'm going to invest. That's textbook material. You need to get your feet wet. I'm sure all of you at least have one or two properties, even your own home. That's your first experience. And then you talk to your realtor, you talk to your bank manager, you talk to your appraiser, a lot of different people, your colleagues. You learn from their experience, and that's where you're gonna. It's a trial and error type of thing, but also go with your gut feeling. Talk to your municipality, or wherever you buy a property. Always talk to the town, because that will really tell you what the future is going to be of that particular area. Again, make a plan that I already talked to you about. Have a strategy. Consult a professional. Always talk to a realtor who knows. It's not about knowledge, it's about knowledge, but it's also about somebody who cares. Because a lot of the time, you don't want somebody who's just you're looking for one property and then they're gonna move on. Who's gonna look after you in the future as well. So build a relationship with people around you. Again, no one knows everything, Sometimes investors, they say, I know everything, I know what I'm doing, but when you go into real estate, you'll find out it's not like that. At least that's what I found out. Now, why go to Toronto when you are living in Vancouver and you want to invest here? The price is appreciating higher in Toronto for one thing, almost 5.5%. There's the strongest growth in the condo market. Nowhere else in Canada they have that than in Toronto. Demand surpasses availability, so it's great for rental properties, especially if you are going to be living here. You need good tenants. For example, 2-bedroom apartment downtown Toronto in a nice building, you can get $4,500 rent easily. People will pay for that lifestyle. They don't want to go and live in suburbs. They rather live there. It's usually couple. They're trendy. They're hip. They want to work there. They want to enjoy the nightlife. So in that respect, and they're good tenants. They pay you rent on time. That's very important, because if you lose 1 month's rent, that's eats up into your equity. So those are the considerations you take. Like, there was a lady who came and talked to me this afternoon, and she was saying, I'm thinking of investing in a condo in Scarborough. Scarborough is a suburb of Toronto. And I said, no, that's not where you buy, because the property value will never go up there because of the area, and you won't get good tenants. So the important thing is to get a tenant, get a decent tenant, a professional probably, who will pay the rent, who will make sure your property is kept in a good condition. But that's really important too, and that will depend on the area that you're going to purchase. Now, also with real estate, you can buy a condo from 200,000 to 2 million. In Toronto, we had the highest sale of condominium in all over Canada in history, $28 million for a condominium in Four Seasons Hotel. By the way, I own a condo there too. And and in Shangri-La, their hotel, they have it here too, Shangri-La. I think they've sold 3 already. Their penthouses for $9 million, which is not 28 million, but put them together. And so this is the real estate market. This is what's happening right now in Toronto. So if anybody wants to invest in Toronto, this would be a good time. And there's many projects, as you can. That's Toronto. Like for example, there's this is just a brief thing I'm telling you. There's my land there. That's a multiplex that's for sale by the lake. There's 10 York condos. There's another project. Waterfront condominiums. That's right in the heart of downtown. It's called King Blue Condos. This is by Eaton Center. I don't know if everybody has been to Toronto before or not, but Eaton Center is really in the heart of downtown. This building, if you go to Toronto, it's totally changed. It's like a New York, but the prices are not of New York. The average pricing for a Toronto condominium starts with $700 per square foot. That's a 19-story building, combined 480 feet. It starts with mid-200. So there is something for everybody who wants to invest in Toronto. This is the Yorkville condominium. This used to be the old Four Seasons. They're selling units here for $300,000 and up. This is, before it's even built, you will have lineup of tenants waiting to live in that area. There's no parking there, by the way. So. We have the Shangri-La Hotel too. We have lots of units. So basically, I'm a VIP agent for most of these developers. You can get below market pricing from them. Now, Cinema Tower is another one where you can rent it to own. So what you can do is you put $1,000 every month towards it, and when you purchase it, that amount will go towards your down payment. So there is different ways of investing. This is just to give you an idea. So what I really wanted to say to you, to the Vancouver residents or people who are visiting here, that we are in a global economy now. The world is shrinking, and your investments, you want to make sure you invest in a proper and a good place. And I think that Toronto is the place to invest right now. And I'm standing in front of you, started with nothing, and I made something. I'm also, I came as an immigrant here, and so everybody has a chance, and it's how you are going to put your investment, how you're going to build your portfolio, and who you're going to work with is very important. So if anybody has any questions, the floor is open. You can ask me, or if you want a private consultation, I'm available. I'm staying here in the hotel, and my contact information is there, so I can show you the projects privately, whatever your needs are. Anybody has any questions? Yes.
$4,500 rent you mentioned. What was the value of the condo that was being rented at that?
That's a very good question. That's about the real value of that condo actually was 1.2, but I was able to get it from my client it was 1.4, and I was able to get for my client $1,010,000. but it's red. Like people are lining up to rent those places because they're very, people can go down to the restaurant. There's a spa, like a cheese spa or a Moroccan spa or whatever, and people like that kind of lifestyle. So, and it's also near the hospitals. So a lot of doctors, and they're coming from out of town, they want to stay there. So you can also do short-term rental too. That's another thing. Where what I've done is I furnish the place for 2 or 3 months. They come in, they will stay, they'll pay you the highest rent. For example, the same condo furnished would go for $6,500 a month. So it's a pretty good market. But there are markets like $200,000 you can buy and still get $1,400 a month rent, which is still pretty good. That's the average for like one bedroom is $1,400, $1,600, and then $2,000, $2,200, $2,500 for 2 bedrooms. Yes.
Why should I invest in Toronto instead of Vancouver?
Because I think Toronto is the business district, is the business hub of Canada. And most immigrants, when they come to Canada, they work in Toronto. Vancouver is great for vacational type of properties, high-end properties by the ocean, but for average person who comes in, they want to stay in Toronto because there is all kinds of, refinery, manufacturing, finance, everything is in Toronto. It's like being in New York. So the demand for any rental income is very high. So and also your appreciation is very high and very quick compared to Vancouver. So I think that's a good investment. Anybody else? So I guess we can wrap up then. Okay. Thank you all for coming, and if you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you, Ms. Robina, for speaking. If anyone has more personal or complex questions, feel free to approach her and speak to her in person. I'm sure she will be around for a few more minutes. So thank you all for coming here. The next speaker will be speaking at 3:15, and that is Ms. Queenie Chu. Yeah, 3:30, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. 3:30.